Why do we have the Electoral College? The debates in the Constitutional Convention are fascinating. They spend days trying to figure out how many years the president should serve, whether the president should repeat his terms, who should elect the president. At one point, they suggest the governors should get together and elect the president. That doesn't fly. They have all sorts of other suggestions. The governors should send nominations to Congress. Congress should elect the president. Ultimately, they decide that the president has to be elected in some kind of national fashion. Well, in the middle of this debate, James Madison, who's the father of the Constitution, says the fittest thing, that's the word he uses, would be for the people to elect the president. A number of other delegates say the same thing. But then Madison goes on to say there's a huge problem with that. He says that you can't have the people elect the president because the southern states could have no influence in the election on the score of the Negros. Well, of course, when he says Negros, what he means is the slaves. The 40% of Virginia who are slaves, the 50 to 55% of South Carolina who are slaves, the 30% of North Carolina who are slaves. The problem is this: slaves aren't voting. If you have a direct election of the president, the only people who can vote are the free voters. So Virginia isn't going to get any political power from its slaves. By this time, the convention has already agreed to allocate representatives in Congress based on the population of the whole number of free people and 3/5 of all other people. And who are the 3/5 of other people? They're the slaves. And the Electoral College says that you will get electors based on the number of representatives you have in Congress. If you had the direct election of the president, then the South is going to lose every election and you're going to get one northern president after another. A delegate from North Carolina who was taking notes at the convention that day, he quotes Madison, if we had a direct election of the president, Virginians won't get elected president. Now, we're talking about the state that produces Washington, Jefferson, Madison, and Monroe, 4 of our first 5 presidents. Change the way they're chosen, and these guys might or might not get elected. Now, of course, we have universal adult suffrage, and therefore no state is at a disadvantage because there's a large population of people like slaves who can't vote, and so we could just count everybody's vote. And here's the crux of the matter for modern Americans. The reason we have the Electoral College is because of slavery. It is the last legacy, the last vestige of slavery in the U.S. Constitution that is still affecting our political lives. As James Madison says, the fittest thing would be for the people to directly elect the president through the popular vote.